Good morning, good morning. It's nice to see you today. Good morning to you. Hi, welcome to Story Corner. And the corner I'm looking at today, the sheep out there. I was getting dressed this morning and I put on my nice warm, cozy wool sweater and thought, how did this come to be? Because I know it starts with them out there and ends up here. I got my glasses out, my sunglasses out this morning of my little felted wool case that my friend made for me, and I thought, how did this come from that? In today's story, we're going to discover how we get felt and yarn from creative thinkers. Let's go find out how. So here we are in the cozy hay barn, and you can see that we have some sheep's wool. You know, come to think of it, the wool really starts with this hay, because that's what our sheep eat. They eat the hay and then grow the wool. We have to get the wool off of them, and this is a raw fleece from last spring, because it's still winter time and they need their wool on them to keep them warm. So what do you think we have to do next? Well, how about clean it? You have to get all of the dirt and grass parts off, and then wash it. I took this piece right out of this fleece and washed it, and look how nice and white that is. Now what do we have to do? Next would be something to get all of the wool fibers going in the same direction, and that's called carding. So you load these little fibers on here, these little dog paddles, and you scratch and scratch until they're ending up nice and fluffy and all going in one direction. Take them off and you can see they're nice and fluffy, pretty straight. What would be next? Spinning and twisting and spinning and pulling until you get some nice long strands. Might want to do some dyeing, make some bright colors, but there you have it. But it does take a long time. Can you imagine if you had to do this? You have to feed it, you have to shear it, you have to wash it, you have to card it, takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of following steps, one after another. But what if you had a different idea to do something with wool? Like felting it. Same wool, same beautiful feeling, but this is not yarn. It's pressed and pressed with hot water and soap, and you rub it and you rub it. So different people have different ideas of how to be unique. They figure it out by growing up and experimenting. Our story today is about a little sheep that does that. Woolbur by Helakoski. Woolbur had a little trouble with the herd today, said Ma. Oh, what happened? Asked Pa. I don't want to stand still with the sheep, said Woolbur. I ran with the dogs instead. But those dogs are half wild, said Pa. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? They'll run circles around you, said Ma. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Don't worry, said Grandpa. But Ma and Pa pulled on their wool all night long. Oh, Woolbur had little trouble in the shearing barn today, said Ma. Oh, what happened? Asked Pa. I don't want to shear my wool, said Woolbur. Being woolly feels nice. But it's springtime, said Pa. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Your wool is so long, said Ma. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Oh, don't worry, said Grandpa. But Ma and Pa pulled on their wool all night long. Woolbur had a little trouble carding wool today, said Ma. Oh, what happened? Asked Pa. I carded my own wool, said Woolbur. No more tangles. But sheep don't card wool on their bodies, said Pa. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? You look so different, said Ma. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Don't worry, said Grandpa. But Pa and Ma pulled on their wool all night long. Woolbur had a little trouble spinning today, said Ma. Oh, what happened? Asked Pa. I rode around on the spinning wheel, said Woolbur. It was fun. But spinning is not supposed to be fun, said Pa. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Your yarn is all loopy, said Ma. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Don't worry, said Grandpa. But Pa and Ma pulled on their wool all night long. Woolbur had a little trouble dyeing wool today, said Ma. Oh, what happened? Asked Pa. Instead of dyeing the yarn, I dyed myself, said Woolbur. I like experimenting. You look unbelievable, said Pa. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? It will never wash out, said Ma. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Don't worry, said Grandpa. But Pa and Ma pulled on their wool all night long. Woolbur had a little trouble weaving today, said Ma. Oh, what happened? Asked Pa. I put my head in the loom, said Woolbur, to weave my forelock. But that's not what you were shown, said Pa. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? It's unheard of, said Ma. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Don't worry, said Grandpa. But Ma and Pa pulled on their wool all night long. Finally, Ma and Pa took Woolbur aside and said, You must follow the flock, dear. It is what we sheep do. From now on, you will stay with the herd like everyone else. You will shear wool like everyone else. You will card wool like everyone else. You will spin wool like everyone else. You will dye wool like everyone else. You will weave wool like everyone else. Oh, said Woolbur. He thought and he thought all night long. And from then on, he taught everyone to run with the dogs, to let their wool grow, to card their own wool, to spin crazy yarn, to experiment with color, and to weave their forelocks. Ma and Pa put their heads in their hooves and sighed. Woolbur does not think like we do, said Ma. I know, said Pa. Now everyone looks like Woolbur and acts like Woolbur, said Ma. I know, said Pa. How will we ever find him? Dear. Don't worry, said Grandpa. Isn't it great that Woolbur decided to stay with his inner feelings and be a unique individual? I hope you too can sometime embrace your inner Woolbur and be unique yourself. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.